Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today, after much deliberation, I am presenting to you my 2026 journal lineup together with a short explanation how I will be using each of the books, how am I archiving them, which books belongs to which, and so on and so on. So basically, it would be a lie if I told you that this video will be like very well thought through, because it's not, in fact. And the issue is, up until very last moment, I've been kind of struggling to make up my mind about which notebooks and journals I want to use next year. This year it was very clear. I didn't have like any second thoughts either about like notebooks I've been choosing. But about next year, I think once you realize you have so many options, it gets more difficult to choose, and it was exactly what was happening in my case. So I did decide on something. Whether it will be a subject of change, I don't know, you don't know, no one knows. But I am quite happy with where my mind lies right now. So without further ado, let's get to the notebooks. The first one I will be using is my traveler's notebook. It's the standard size or regular size in olive. The olive tone doesn't show too well, or maybe on the spine it looks good. And it is my daily planner. I have this cool little charms on it. Charms here, patches here. Very fully decorated, you can say. This is, as I've said, my daily planner. Despite the size that some people may describe as a bit like impractical, I do carry it with me, and it like stays in my bag, no issues at all. And I note down all of the appointments, all of the errands I have to run, and so on and so on. I also have a bit of a decoration going on in here. So when we open it up, we see the little like file folder that's like purely decorative. It doesn't hold anything important. So here we have the other side. Here goes the actual planner. And then the other thing that stays in here is the little craft folder where I keep a little like an off-brand notebook to note things about my projects and so on. Basically, whatever doesn't belong to the planner goes into the little notebook, and then I transfer the notes to the other books, or maybe on my laptop if it's something like work or project related. But it's a first place for those thoughts to live. It is in my planner. Of course, I still have like this year 2025 insert, like the calendar in here, but I have already decorated the one for 2026, the first half of the year. This is the cover I have decorated. It is, of course, all empty. I have not added any dates, anything. I will do that in the new year, but it is about my planner. I also do some habit tracking in there, but it is like strictly related to my everyday life. I do track habits in my planner exclusively. I don't track habits in my journals or anything like that. I just don't. It's not my jam, so to speak. The usual page in my planner looks something like this. We do divide the page into 3, then we do some habit trackings, notes, important to-dos, and that's how we roll. It is very transparent, it is very black and white. I don't really decorate my planners because it's supposed to be practical, and it is also a book I throw away after the year ends, so I don't really see much purpose besides decorating the cover because I look at it for half the year. Then don't really see the point in decorating other parts of it, and I think it will stay this way. I think it's fine. So I am kind of happy with how this one turned out. What do you guys think? I love it. I love the walls on the front. They are so cool. These are like so me. If you haven't watched any of my videos, that's me. Me on the cover. Isn't that cute? So cute. Then the other book I will be using is a debut on my channel and in my life actually. I will be using a hobonichi techo, which means A6, as my daily journal. I have this airy flamingo cover. I put some cool photos on it and like printables. I also have this cute charm. We are increasing the keychain number, as we can see. And then on the inside, it is like very standard, like not much going on. I plan on developing this cover during the year. I will be like putting each sticker sheet I get. I will select one sticker and put it on the cover to make like a sticker collection cover. I think it would be super cute. I selected this one as my daily journal because of the size. primarily. I don't feel as confident in journaling in A5 or other formats. Sometimes I have a lot to say, but sometimes I don't. And then, Monday to Friday, you don't always feel like doing something creative inside a journal. So it just would be a half empty page. Is it fun? I don't think so. So yeah, I will be going with an A6 because the size is super cute. I think the size and the color makes it absolutely adorable. I am so in love with this cover and like with hobonichi concept in general. I also added a little mood board for 2026 in here, and it is me in a nutshell as well. So I'm very excited to start using it. It will be a daily journal, but also a daily notebook for everything. I plan on getting a bit more into like drawing, sketching, watercolor, and I've heard that hobonichi paper is great for that as well. I've seen so many like cool posts and artworks people doing theirs, so I plan on doing the same. Worst thing that can happen is that I will fail, so it's zero risk undertaking. Love that for me. We will be going full into this particular notebook. Then the third notebook, it is arguably my favorite. We do pick our favorite children on this channel, and this is this one. This A6 Rings will be serving at the second year in a row as my media journal. This is how it looks like, and as the name already suggests, it is a media journal. I really enjoy the rings format for it because I can make all of the like cool creative spreads inside about all of the music, movies, books, and everything. Basically, I do the most creative stuff in this particular journal, which may appear like surprising to some people, but I really like making new things on the basis of media I've interacted with, and that's why I really enjoy working on spreads in this particular book. I also do other things there, which I will mention in a second, but I'm gonna show you an example of the spreads. I do things like this inside. I write reviews, concert reviews, book reviews, and basically everything. This particular journal is divided into sections. So music goes separately, books go separately, and so on and so on. I can do this, and it's kind of flexible because of the rings format, so I really enjoy that. And as you can see now, it is kind of full because I do a lot of collages, and because I do a lot of collages, the pages bulk up really quickly. So I had to think quickly about like a little system. I really don't like this word, but I guess we have to roll with it, as to where the completed spreads will go once the notebook and the journal itself gets kind of full. That's where these two come into play. The first one, which is this normal craft binder, is the one when I archive the spreads, all of them. So I don't keep the separation between books and music in this anymore. I just put them chronologically, so I kind of remember what happened when and when I liked a certain CD, album, books, and so on. So this is how they look, for example, archived in this binder. I really like the simple and kind of rustic look of it. It's really like the aesthetic I enjoy in my journals, so I'm super happy how they look in here. The second archive binder is this transparent A6 one, has another keychain, who's shocked, which I use exclusively as my concert journal. Inside this notebook, I put, as the name suggests, I put the completed journal spreads from the media journal as soon as they get full. I do try my best to keep a little bit of a scheme when it comes to my concert journals. I always do it in the same way. That's what I meant. I always do like a full review. I paste some photos in there. Then I also add a Polaroid photo printed on my Instax printer. And then I also make a collage, because one thing you should know about me, I do like a good collage, and that's great. That's fantastic. So this is, for example, how the concert spreads are looking. We have the normal review, and then we have the Instax photo, and then we have the collage. And this is how I do for every single concert. I think it's really fun because, you know, it makes the memories of the concert stay with you longer, and when you make the collage, you're kind of reliving everything once again. Plus, I think that's like the most important thing for me right now. It's about the damn photos. Like, of course, you take photos at the concerts. I would say personally I take less photos than people around me usually, but even though I take just a few, they still kind of lay around in my camera roll and they don't go anywhere and I don't look at them. But the second I put them into like these collages, they look nice on a spread. I do something creative with them and I really enjoy looking back at them. It's like a bit of an elevated photo album, you can say, because you don't just put photos, but you make something out of the photos and then it goes into like a separate little binder. I think that's super cute. I also did like, of course, a collage for both of the covers. So both front and the back are decorated. I love this one so much. It's also so cute and portable. As you can see, I do have a bit of a size preference when it comes to like my notebooks. I prefer when they're small, even though I usually don't take these notebooks with me. They just stay at home. The only one I take out with me is the biggest one, which is kind of absurd, but if the shoe fits, and it does. So that's how I will be doing that in the new year. The last thing I plan on doing is also putting my second traveler's notebook to use, because you may not see that by like the journal lineup I've presented to you right now, but I am a huge fan of Travelers Company and like Travelers Company products, and I do like getting like the special edition covers. So I have this one from Tokyo Station I've gotten during my trip to Japan, and I actually plan on using it as a travel journal that I take with me traveling. I haven't done that previously. So far I've only travel journaled after I came back from the trip, and I really like it because with like the scrapbooky, crafty style of the journaling I prefer when I compile all of the ephemera, compile all of the photos. It is a bit difficult to do all of the things on the go because sometimes I combine scraps I've collected during the whole trip on one page, which is of course something you can't do on the go. But I think I want to maybe doing one like very, very simple journal on the go as I travel, and then another one a bit more scrapbooky and a bit more my style once I come back. I think that would be really fun to have like a full scope of the travel, you know, because of course you experience other things when you're there and you kind of think through things and you establish like an opinion about certain events after you come back. And I think that would be like a nice combination, and putting them together in this Travelers Company archive binders would be great to look back on, and I think that's a fantastic thing to try. So I will be doing that in this cover. At the very beginning I was a bit worried because the golden, like the train and everything, it's not embossed. It's just gold foil, so it will come off, but I actually don't care. I really like my traveler's notebook a bit scuffed, as you could see on this one, so no issue with it getting a bit more used as well. Okay, and here we have it. These were all of the books I will be using in 2026. Would I call it my notebook ecosystem? Not necessarily. I think it's one of the topics I've touched up on my channel a couple of times, but I don't like referring to the notebooks I am using as a system. I think that's maybe like, you know, food for thoughts or something. But for me, a system has to have a very set scheme of like developed connections and interdependencies and so on and so on. And I do not like to overthink stuff. I don't like rules either. Double fire sign speaking from me, but I just don't vibe with it. So I just call it like a bunch of books. They don't really have to correlate to each other, and I think that's a very freeing realization to make, and that's also a very freeing thing that helps you experiment with things, mix styles maybe, because I am quite aware of the fact that my usual aesthetic don't really go along some books I am doing, and it's fine because it is not a system. And that's how I plan on doing it next year as well. There is also one thing I may get, but I won't be showing it on my channel, so I will just mention it without showing it to you guys. I will be starting a 5-year journal just for like a fun thing that happened every single day, or maybe a nice thing that someone said to me and so on. So that would be a very like the most reflective journal I will be having, because as you can see, I do like doing stuff in my journals, not necessarily thinking about stuff, but I kind of process emotions and impressions while making stuff. And that's kind of the thing I plan on doing in my notebooks. Hope you enjoyed this little video. If you did, please consider subscribing. I post videos kind of regularly about everything I like, everything I find interesting, so What are you waiting for? And for now, have a great day, great night, and see you in the next video. Bye!